last video, you'll know that my dispatchers woke me up 3 hours into my sleep to put me on a relay. Another driver was running out of hours, wasn't going to be able to get this load delivered on time. Ow. I got to be at Sterling by midnight, and it's 70 miles away, and it's 10:30. So, you might say I'm in a hurry. I got plenty of fuel. I don't know if you were listening to that. Oh cool, this trailer has a leak somewhere. I got my glasses glued together one last time, and I'm just going to be able to hold on for a couple of weeks. Better shape than I thought I was in, because my dispatcher is a genius and he told me it was 75 miles, so I thought it was like 20 minutes later than I am. And the good thing about Walmart, even if I was running 20 late, is they wouldn't even register it as late because it's an hour before and an hour after. As long as I show up there at midnight, which I'm going to be a little early now, and as long as our line isn't 5 miles long, I guess it's technically possible, but Sterling usually isn't that bad. This windshield is garbage. I cannot get it clean enough because it's just scratched to hell and pitted, and it's just going to be hazy no matter what I do. Like I say, next time I get to the yard, I'll say something to the mechanics about it. Decided to sit here while I'm waiting and try to finally get that super glue off my lens, and it's working. It just takes a really long time. Just add a little and rub the glass, and it slowly comes off. I've been staring through super glue for a week, not a week, almost a week, and I just, because it didn't work immediately because I was in a hurry, I just, oh, it's not gonna work. It's like, I should try this, and it's working. I almost have it completely off, so I'm not in as much of a rush to get back to get my new glasses, but they'll be there when I get home waiting on me. So Anyway, I can see through the damn things now. That's nice. That is neat. It is crazy how fast I de-acclimate to cold weather. During the winter, a 53-degree day feels like summertime. It feels like springtime. I'd be in a t-shirt. But after going to the Southwest and being in the 90s and hundreds and stuff down there, 53 degrees, I'm freezing my butt off. Now, this next load picks up in Milwaukee, but I can't show up there until 7. It's only 3. I'm about to find out exactly how far it is. I think it's about 3 hours. Yep, that was about right. I'm going to go up through Rochelle, so since I got some time to kill, like an hour and a half, I'm going to go ahead and get this thing washed out just to double. Might as well. I've got the extra time, and that way I know it won't get rejected. This has meat in it, had meat in it. It's like some places are really picky. If they see like one drop of like dried blood somewhere, they're going to reject the trailer. Double check when I get up to Rochelle, because I couldn't do it sitting there in their driveway, but I'm pretty sure I have an air leak somewhere on the trailer, audible air leak. The brakes are working, I'm empty, so that's fine, but I'll get up there and I'll crawl under there and figure out where the air leak's coming from and figure out what we have to do next. Driving down the wrong side of the road. He flipped around now, but how the hell did he do that? It's not the first time I've seen that in my career. I actually went down the highway in Texas like a year or two ago. That'd be like 3 years ago now. And west of Dallas, I think it's at 87. And like full speed down the highway. Semi in the left lane passed me going down the highway on the wrong side of the road because it was 4 lane and he was on my side of the road. Yeah, that was fun. Let's see if I can't figure out what's leaking on this trailer. I'm waiting. Sounds like a tire. That's an easy enough fix. Call it in, tell them I need right rear outer tire. It's going to need a tire too because it's got damage to the sidewall. I've never worked for a company this small. I called in to tell them about the tire. There's one lady in that office tonight. One. There's 200 trucks. I mean, obviously they're not all driving at night, but you can bet a quarter of them are. Just as soon as I get washed out here, I'll head over to the TA and see if they can get me handled tonight. Train X, it can't figure out where it wants to go. I swear it's a hobby of these shops. Like if you pull up to a bay that says tire service, there's no one in the shop. She can see that's where I'm at. She put me in bay 2 instead of bay 1. Okay. I mean, I don't exactly know how their system works, but it's like 9 times out of 10, they're like, oh yeah, you gotta move just a little bit. Probably in for a pretty sunrise. You got some clouds in the horizon, see? Checked in here at 4. It's 6. Well, first, take a look at this. Oof. I'm a sucker for a good sunrise, man. That is just gorgeous. You want to believe? I believe God is an amazing artist. I mean, come on. They dreamt that up in their sleep. Now back to my complaining. You get a blowout and they come out to you on the highway, especially if it's a busy highway, you're gonna have that tire on there in 15 minutes. 2 hours. For an exterior tire, which means you only had to take one tire off, change it. Now, I'd have been okay with that if he was struggling with something, right? Like if the wheel had seized up onto the hub or something like that. No, that's not the problem. He'd be out there working. All of a sudden, he'd be in the office chatting. You go back out there, work a little bit. 5-10 minutes later, he'd be back here chatting. Sitting there waiting, I actually dozed off in the waiting room until I heard the air gun go off for him putting the lugs back on. That woke me up. 5 minutes later, I heard the torque wrench going. I started getting up, walking around like, all right, we're done now. 15 minutes go by, I'm like, I mean, are we waiting on something from Schuster or what's the deal? It's like, no, we're just waiting on a mechanic. And I look out there, it's like, well, I mean, I know I heard that lug wrench or the torque wrench clicking. That, I mean, they're done. That's the last step. Look out there and he's chatting with a buddy. You know, like you guys understand I don't get paid for this, right? I don't get paid to sit here. You guys get paid by the hour, I don't. Anyway, I mean, I'm glad they exist, but I mean, explain to me how they can get the damn thing changed in 15 minutes on the side of the highway, but it takes 2 hours in the shop. Other than they want to upcharge people, or they're, I don't know. I don't understand it. coming to Milwaukee for 10 years, and that was the best look I've ever gotten of Lake Michigan. I mean, I'm right on it. You can actually see waves still from, let's see if you can tell, like you can see the water there. See if I can zoom in any further than that. Let me get some stability. Yeah, you see the waves? Can't get much closer to the lake than that. I could walk a couple hundred yards and take a swim, but I'm not crazy, so. I hope they have a pretty strong relationship with their customers. Either that or I just need to get off TikTok, because I keep seeing drivers get on there like hanging up their keys and stuff because they can't afford it. They can't afford to run. Like the freight's so cheap that they can't even afford to drive anymore. So I'm hoping that they've got a good relationship with their customers. It's direct freight mostly, like I've done, but I've already done a broker load. I hope somebody does something about the broker situation soon, because there's a lot of stuff coming out about how these brokers are robbing the drivers blind, and it's killing the industry. Right? The trucking industry is struggling. And it's partially just a boom and bust thing. Like trucking was booming during COVID, right? I mean, you all heard the rhetoric on the news and stuff about truck drivers being the, you know, lifeblood. Thing is, that's never changed. The country still runs on semis, but the demand has gone down quite a bit since the end of all the crazy restrictions and stuff during the pandemic. So yeah, so there's a lot of people struggling. You know, they keep talking about a driver shortage, and I just call bullshit on it. Every time I hear somebody talk about driver shortage, it's like, what the hell are you talking about? If there was a driver shortage, why would freight rates be so damn low? Right? If you don't know anything about trucking, freight rates is how much per mile that they pay you for the freight. And there's loads going out right now as low as like $1.50 a mile, which is a loss. You take a loss on that load, because the cost of fuel, you know, you got to pay yourself, you got to pay all your insurance, and you know, your fuel taxes and all that stuff come out. It's like it's crazy how, like, there are people taking those loads. Like, why? And they'll use excuses like, oh, you know, you take the bad freight so you can get into somewhere where there's better freight. I was like, I don't care what the reason is. Taking freight that doesn't pay you is insane. I mean, imagine doing that in any other job, right? Like, say you're building a house, and you know, the owner of the house is like, you know, you got to build these 4 rooms before I'll pay you anything to build this room. It's like, these 4 rooms are going to be free, but once you get done with those, I'll pay you to do these. It's the same damn thing. Like, oh, I got to build those rooms to get to where I can make money. It's like, no, either you pay me or I don't do the work. Like, that's the way the world works. And there's guys taking freight at a loss, and it blows my mind. I heard somebody talking a while ago, I don't remember who on the internet, but they were like, you know, everybody's like, oh, they said that we'd have flying cars by now. I was like, yeah, well, we figured out that was really inefficient. So instead of building flying cars, we built these amazing road structures that go above the ground, right? That bridge is your equivalent to a flying car. And there's some cities like Dallas and Houston that some of those are like 400 feet up, it feels like. They're probably not that high, but they're at least like a 10-story building. I don't know how tall a 10-story building is. Like, you can see the tops of buildings going over some of those skyways in Dallas. How is that not a flying car? A semi going up, you know, 5-6 stories up in the air. That's a flying semi. Just because it's making contact with a hard surface doesn't mean it's not flying through the air. It's way above the ground. Who needs flying cars? I mean, we kind of have them. I have to stop talking. I have to edit like 90% of this out, and sorry.
He's an asshole, sir.
I know that. What's his name?
That is his name, sir. Asshole. Major asshole.
The asshole that can't keep his truck in the lane likes to swerve at people when they're passing them. This time he didn't recognize me because he wouldn't look at me when I went past him. Almost forgot how awesome Quick Trip is.
Head northwest toward County Highway G, County Road G.
I got a bunch of groceries so I don't have to keep buying truck stop food and wasting money. Now I couldn't buy what I usually get because I don't have my skillet with me. But I got stuff I can heat up in the microwave and some whole fruits and stuff like that to satisfy a sweet tooth in a healthy-ish way. We're bad. I'm tired. Say too. They don't mark it up crazy either. It's not like super expensive. I got a good week's worth of food, maybe 2 weeks, and I needed some fingernail clippers and a comb and some forks and some napkins and stuff like that that I didn't really need, or I mean I needed, but tired. And remember, I got 3 hours of sleep yesterday. And I got up at 10 o'clock last night. It's been a 14-hour day. On 2 hours of sleep. I'm exhausted. My whole point was that they don't mark up their stuff like the big name truck stops do. They make it reasonable. $76 for like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks worth of food. Awesome. Love Quick Trip. I wish I was sponsored by Quick Trip. I'm not big enough to have sponsors yet, but maybe when I get sponsors, Quick Trip will sponsor me. I'm going to go to bed before saying anything else stupid.